If the idea of smashing together Super Monkey Ball, Marble Madness, a pinball game and Sonic the Hedgehog sounds great to you, then stick around because that's exactly what Super Sami Roll does. It's a 3D platformer that goes right the way back to the glory days of 3D platformers, and it's out today on PC. I've had a great time and a frustrating time pulling my hair out but enjoying every minute of it as I play through this very challenging game. As I say, Super Sami Roll goes right the way back to kind of platforming roots, and Sami has two distinct features to him. The first one is that as the licking lizard, he can roll up into a ball and he handles like a marble, which is where my Super Monkey Ball references come into play in Marble Madness, because as he rolls around, he handles like a rolling ball. And so you'll need to guide him around various obstacle courses, lots of narrow beams, tight turns, and avoid obstacles as they appear around him. His second attribute, though, is his tongue. No, this isn't a Tinder profile, we're actually going full on using the tongue as a grappling hook. And so he can grab onto the edge of ledges, so if you're just about to be shy of a jump, he can kind of lure himself in and kind of belly flop his way up a little bit. It's a bit clumsy, but it can work. But his main use for it is to cling on to various different poles, and then like a gymnast, he'll kind of flip himself around and then you can fly off in other directions. It's really handy because it changes up that platforming dynamic. So you've got the rolling aspect and then the gymnastic aspect of the game as well. Super Sami Roll has a beautiful NES-style overworld map that you then pick your level and dive into. Once you dive into them, they're all themed very differently, and they'll have different obstacles in. Some of them will be narrow beams for you to kind of gently navigate your way around, and you'll be collecting stars as you do, and stars top up the time that you have remaining to keep you kind of going. Because every level is timed. If you don't reach the end of the level by the time limit, you have to restart again. The crux of this is that you can turn on and off, depending on the difficulty mode, checkpoints. I personally turned them on because Super Sami Roll gets hard, and so having a midway checkpoint just helped me cut that difficulty down a little bit and make sure that I didn't have to do an entire level precisely to continue on. The time limits, though, get very restrictive and tight as you get through the game, and actually just as much as getting things correctly, doing things quickly becomes a real issue throughout the game. Enemies can hit you, but they don't kill you. You just bounce off them essentially, and that costs you time, but it can also ping you off in a different direction, and that's where I get the pinball aspect of this game from, because quite often they'll kind of send you over an edge of a ledge or something like that, and then you can't recover from there and it's back to the beginning and starting again. Levels have different setups as well. Some are just pure platformers, some have like rising lava, so you have to beat the lava to get to the end. There are bosses involved as well, and that involves normally being able to get them to get caught up in their own trap and then jumping on their head. Very Sonic, very old school 3D platformer bossy, and I very much appreciated it. The way how the game handles, though, is really key, because some of it is fantastic, and I love the way how he handles as you roll him around everywhere. Where it does slightly fall down for me is on the bounce jump. As you progress through levels, gaps get larger and objects get put in your way so that you can't nice and neatly just jump over them. And so you have this bounce jump where you jump first and then press a secondary button to then kind of belly flop smash down, and then that sends you off on a big jump elsewhere. I found this mechanic, and this mechanic only in the game, to be really inconsistent. It seemed to be related to some of the momentum that you had if you jumped whilst running and then done a jump, it would send you far. But there are a couple of levels where the whole point of being able to do a bounce jump and surviving is that you don't have that run up, and so you have to kind of awkwardly angle it and it would shoot it off in weird and wonderful directions. And I found that really the most frustrating part of playing Super Sami Roll. That was my only negative playing the game though, and I'm going to run through some other things that I just think are fantastic. Firstly, the soundtrack. This is like golden era PS2 platforming soundtracking. I adore the soundtrack. It's catchy, it's got great themes, there's loads of them. They seem to be themed by location, but the worlds have got like loads of locations in them, so it's not like here's a desert zone, here's a forest zone. You'll go through a world and it'll be like one forest, one desert, one air, one pyramid, one like mud pit in a volcano thing. There's loads, and all of them have their own themes, and the soundtrack is superb. The other thing that I really liked as well is some of the unlockables, and one of them is an entire new multiplayer game where you literally play as marbles through generated levels, trying to reach the end before anyone else. It's 1 to 4 players. You can have AI substituting in for anyone that's not playing. That in itself, like Marble It Up, is like a full game in itself on the side, but it's just a bonus extra. I love that that is available and you just have to collect some coins and unlock it. There are also collectible berries and other secrets and things like that that you can unlock through the customization screen, where you can customize the colour and some of the apparel that Sami can wear. So yeah, this is a absolutely superb game. I don't think this is on anyone's radar, and it needs to be, because this for me just takes me right the way back to 16-bit / PS1 / PS2 era platforming, where it was 3D, experimental, fun, bold, beautiful, vibrant, and just it has a simple pick up and play mechanic that works, but its level design ensures that you're going to be like, ah, all at the same time. So it's that fantastic mix of easily accessible to begin with, but really challenging as you progress through. A written review will be over on higherplanegames.com. Do not sleep on this, platformers. This is a gem. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.